Namaste. This is David Hawthorne at astroview.com. Today is the 23rd of May, 2016. The following is the Vedic Astrology chart reading for Prince, who was born on June 7th, 1958, 6:17 p.m. in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So Prince was an American singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, record producer, and actor. He was a renowned innovator known for his eclectic work, his flamboyant stage presence, and wide vocal range. He sold over 100 million records worldwide. He earned 7 Grammy Awards, a Golden Globe Award, even an Academy Award. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004. He's ranked number 27 by Rolling Stone of the 100 greatest artists of all time. He did have epileptic bouts in childhood. His parents divorced when he was 10 years old in 1968. He has one younger sister. He had one son who died a week after birth. So he was the boy was conceived during Saturn main period, K2 subperiod, and the loss of the child took place during Saturn main period and Venus subperiod. He had 2 marriages. He first married on Valentine's Day in 1996, and then he divorced 3 years later, and then he remarried again in 2001 and divorced 5 years later. He has needed a double hip replacement surgery since 2005, but he was a Jehovah's Witness, so he could not do surgery involving a blood transfusion. So he was almost always in pain, so he did use painkillers, pain medication. He died April 21st, 2016. They have not yet revealed the cause of death. So now, using Vedic astrology from India and the sidereal zodiac, and I am using this systems approach to Vedic astrology as developed by Professor V.K. Chowdhury. We see that in the first house we have the 7th sign ascending or rising at 23 degrees 25 minutes of Libra. This is an air sign ruled by Venus, and Venus, of course, is connected with the fine arts, the performing arts, and the healing arts. And Libra is an air sign which gives magnetic personality, intelligence, makes one very persuasive. And we see that this is Rahu, the northern node of the moon, R-A-H-U, in the first house. If Rahu is not on the rising sign degree, it is not afflicting that house. And if it is well placed, as it is in the first house, then it does give some ambition, charisma, fame, fortune, magnetic personality, makes one persuasive. You see a lot of people in entertainment with a well-placed Rahu that's not afflicting the rising sign degree. Venus rules this chart and has gone into the 7th house, into the first sign Aries. So this connects Prince with relationships, joint ventures, and partnerships. So this is the Libra rising sign with Sun in Taurus. I know in Western astrology, Sun is in Gemini, but that's the tropical zodiac. That's where the planets were 2,000 years ago. On the date of birth, if you asked an astronomer to calculate the position of the planet, Sun would be at 23 degrees Taurus, not 16 degrees Gemini. So the Sun is in Taurus, very earthy, practical, self-made, ambitious. And Moon is in Aquarius. So that makes one very unconventional, imaginative, inventive, humanitarian, angel of delight living in the future. So Rahu in the first house gives us ambition and charisma. Venus in the 7th house gives successful collaborations. Saturn in the 2nd house gives one the ability to measure their words. Makes one conservative and gives the ability to lead the masses. This is the house of wealth and status. Saturn is the masses. So Moon in the 5th house makes one very inventive, very imaginative. This is the house of children and mind and education, but it's also the house of creativity. Children are procreation, so this is creation, creativity. Now this Mars in the 6th house can give some health issues, and it can give some disputes in marriage and partnerships. Mars rules the 7th house of Aries. When the 7th ruler goes to the 6th house, it brings conflict and disputes into marriage, partnerships, and joint ventures. So you had a couple of marriages, a couple of divorces, and some disputes in his professional life with partnerships and joint ventures. The K2 in the 7th house gives spiritual relationships. He got very involved in the Jehovah's Witnesses. He has Sun in the 8th house. Now, Sun in the 8th house is not ideal in terms of it rules the 11th house of older siblings. So if Sun is well placed, it would bless him with the protection of an older sibling. But it's badly placed in the 8th house, so it denies older siblings. But this is also ruling the 11th house of income, and it's in the 8th house of windfalls, inheritance, so easy money. Now because Sun is at 23 degrees and the ascendant is 23 degrees, then this Sun, which is a functional benefic planet for Libra, is aspecting the 2nd house of Scorpio, and this gives wealth and status through Sun significations, which rules the 11th house of income. So basically it gives royal income and royal status in life. Sun is the king of the planetary cabinet. And Sun on the 2nd house also gave him golden voice, very powerful speech, very powerful music that he was able to create. Now Mercury rules his 12th house, so technically it becomes the most malefic planet for Libra rising sign. But it's not within 5 degrees of Sun, so it's not bothering Sun, and it's not within 5 degrees of Saturn. Its 7th aspect up here is not bothering Saturn. So Mercury's not bothering anything in this chart, but because it rules the 12th house and it's in the 8th house, it gives insomnia. And he gives separate sleeping arrangements with one spouse. And it gives trouble living abroad. Anytime you're reading some chart and the 12th ruler is either in the 6th house or in the 8th house, that person should not live away from the birthplace. And he didn't. He had a big mansion, big palace where he was born, still in Minneapolis. So he was very smart. If he tried to live in a foreign land or something, it would cause a lot of trouble for him. And this is Jupiter in the 12th house. Now Jupiter rules the 3rd house of self-efforts, self-initiatives, communications, and entrepreneurial success, and it's in the 12th house of foreign lands. So yes, it can give him some international ventures. But Jupiter is also children, especially male children, and it's in the house of loss, so loss of child. And Jupiter has no power to protect itself because it's past 25 degrees, so it's in old age, it's weak. And it's in Virgo, so it's ruled by Mercury in the 8th house of death. So loss of child through death. Jupiter also rules the liver, gallbladder, and hips, so he had this need for this double hip replacement. Now he died during the Mercury main period, So he died right in here. Mercury main period and the moon subperiod. So Mercury is in the house of accidents and death-like experiences. So I would say accidental death-like experience, accidental death. And the operating planet was Moon. Well, yes, Moon is well placed in the chart, but it's ruled by a very weak Saturn. Saturn is at 29 degrees. Any planet past 25 degrees is old age. Old persons mean well, but lack the power to protect and provide. So Moon becomes weak because it's ruled by a weak Saturn. But look at this Rahu. This is about 7 degrees. Round it off, you get 7 degrees. And Rahu throws an aspect 5, 7, and 9 houses away. It's not bothering 9 houses away. It's not even bothering Venus. It's outside the 5-degree orb. If planets are not within 5 degrees, there's no impact. And Rahu and Ketu are always the same degree opposite each other. But this Rahu at 7 degrees is afflicting Moon at 8, almost 9 degrees. But that's still a very significant affliction to the Moon. So Rahu is unexpected calamities. It is addictions. And it's afflicting Moon, ruling the peace of mind and the emotional state. So on the one hand, it gives him enormous talent and creativity. And Rahu, which is charisma, is aspecting Moon, ruling the 10th house of professional life. So it gave him enormous charisma. But during the Moon operating period, it's afflicted by Rahu. So on the date of his death, we see that transit Sun, ruling the heart, was at 7 degrees, transiting his natal Ketu, which is about 7 degrees. So it was also under the aspect of Rahu at 7 degrees. So I suspect it had to do with heart failure. Sun is the heart. And Moon, the operating planet, was up here in the 12th house in Virgo at 27 degrees, old age. And the 12th house is end of life, hospitals, separations. And Venus, ruling the chart, was in the house of illness, 6th house. So the inner chart is this particular chart. It's just a circular format. And the outer circle is the transit chart. So transit Sun was on top of natal Ketu under the affliction of Rahu. So that caused an eclipse. So I think it has to do with the stomach, digestion, heart, blood, bones, immune system. And then Venus ruling the chart was in Pisces. But that's the 6th house. That's the house of health issues, mental tension. And the operating planet Moon was up and had just spent a couple of days in the 12th house, which is hospitals. So I think he made a trip to a hospital even. And Sun is physician, Rahu and Ketu, so there's some physician involved, maybe giving him the pain medications or something. Okay, these are the main points for the chart for Prince, with tremendous musician, very creative person, well-meaning person, had a lot of good, did a lot of good charity work. So it's too bad he died young. But I think there's some weakness in the chart. See, Saturn is Ayush Karaka, a significator for longevity, and it's in old age. And Venus rules the chart, and it's in Aries, ruled by Mars, in the house of health issues. Namaste.